I've been working with musicians and artists for 25 years. Now I know what you're thinking. I don't look a day over 21, but I've been doing this since the late 90s. What a boomer. And the music industry has changed time and time again. But musicians' aspirations and musicians' expectations, well, they haven't changed a bit in over 25 years. As an artist, you want people to listen to your music, to appreciate you as an artist and your music, and ideally to be able to make money off your art, whereas all I want is for you to hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. But jokes aside, there is one thing that I have seen time and time again that lets musicians down, that contributes to mental health and anxiety, and usually ends up in musicians and artists quitting their dream. Ironically enough, it's never their talent. It's always their own expectation and their own impatience. And today, I want to talk about why this is such a big killer of careers and what you can do to fix it. Now, there are three words that are the bane of my life. And those three words are, I tried that. Now, I tried that works if you are trying a complex puzzle. If your computer doesn't work and you phone up the help desk and they say, have you tried turn it off and turn it on again? And you say, yes, I've tried that. Okay, well, in which case, we don't need to do that again because that was the answer. I've tried it and it didn't work. But this is music, and everything about music and your release is subjective. And your next release will be different to your last release. Imagine if I said, oh, you want to promote your music? Have you tried doing a gig? You might say, well, yeah, I have tried to do a gig, but just doing a gig on its own isn't a yes or no answer of how you are going to promote your music. Now, when it comes to releasing music, one thing I hear a lot is, I don't want my next release to do what my last release did. And I think, great, I'm all in. I am up for this. I want your next release to go crazy as well. But what does that actually mean? It means I wasn't happy with my last release. I want my next release to do better. So what are we going to do about that? Well, firstly, we have to go and look at the last release in order to improve on what happened. There are 1,000 things that you could do better with your next release. There are 1,000 things that you could do different, but they're not right or wrong. There are things that we need to improve on. And then you learn, and then you study, and then you go again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. You see, the problem with this expectation is there's no shades of grey. It was success or failure. It was right or wrong. It was yes or no. When you're releasing music, it isn't as simple as that. Success isn't defined by yes or no. But we fall into the category of something succeeded or it failed. And then this starts to play with our mental health and our anxiety. And then we feel like we're failing. And when we feel like this, it triggers our emotion. The problem is, at this point when we're releasing music, this is not about emotion. Emotion is in the art, it's in the creativity. But when it comes to the release, now we need practicality, not emotion. We need to release something and say, how do I improve on this? How do I improve on it next time? How do I keep making this better so that every single day I can see the build, I can see the momentum? Now, what really hurts these musicians and artists is when you take these expectations, but now you also add in a time frame. And for some reason, this time frame is always now. It's always instant. It's never 2 years' time. It's never, I want to be able to make money at doing this in 2 years' time. It's always, how do I make money? Or how do I make my release better? And it's always a couple of weeks to go. And so then there's an unrealistic expectation in an unrealistic time frame. How can you possibly win? And so you set yourself up to fail from the get-go. Bill Gates once famously said, most people overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year, but they underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years. And this is so true. If you think about this phrase, it's not working, that's temporary. It's not working doesn't mean it's broken forever. It means it's not working at the moment. Now, if we think, how do we fix it? We're thinking about a yes or no answer. Instead, if we said, how do I improve this over a period of time? For example, how do I improve this every month for the next 5 years? Well, now you've just made something realistic. Guys, quick interruption. You're clearly releasing music and serious about getting results. So have you checked out DK Music Business Academy? It's got over 50 hours worth of courses, including the Roadmap to 1 Million Streams course. What have you got to lose? 7-day free trial, links in the description. Let's crack on with the video. I love making music. How do I make money from my art is a very different question when you say, I love my music. How do I make money from my music within the next 3 years? Because now you've got time to set everything up. You've got time to plan. You've got time to build every single day over a 3-year plan. And the reality is you probably can do that over 3 years. And when you think about in 5 years time, that's a long period of time from now. This video is made in 2022. That's 2027. So if I asked you, How many songs do you think you'll have written by 2027? Or how many songs do you think you'll have recorded by 2027? How many gigs would you like to have done between now and 2027? How many pieces of content would you like to have made and put out between now and 2027? All of a sudden, this changes the dynamic. How many songs do you want to have written in the next 5 years? If you said another 200 songs, wow, that's a lot of songs. That's a lot of co-writes. That's a lot of learning. That's a lot of evolving and making you into a much, much better songwriter. How many songs would you like to have recorded? If you think of it the other way, how many times have you been in the studio? 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 times? That's a lot of times in the studio. If you said, I want to get another 30 or 40 songs recorded, think how much better you will be out of those 30 or 40 songs. Same thing with gigs. If you said, I want to do another 200, 300, 400, 500 gigs in the next 5 years, think of how experienced you're going to be. Think how much more authority your playing is going to have. How many more people that you're going to know because of the networking, because of you playing more gigs and improving. And when it comes to content creation, imagine if you created one piece of content every single day for the next 5 years, between now and 2027. That would be almost 1,300 pieces of content. Now, this is where it becomes a game changer, because after every single one of these things, whether it's a piece of content, a gig, a new song, or recording, you say to yourself, okay, what have I learned from this experience? But more importantly, how can I improve the next song? How can I improve the next piece of content? How can I improve the next gig? All of these questions mean you're not thinking of this as yes or no, success or failure. You're thinking of it as, how can I improve? How can I put one step in front of the other? If I'm climbing the mountain, I just have to keep putting one step in front of the other. And if I'm thinking long term, there's a good chance I'll get there. One of the biggest problems with the music industry and society today doesn't even come from ourselves. It comes from all of the comparison all around us. Seeing all of these people doing great things and us thinking, I want to do that. I want that thing. But we're not thinking, I want to do the thing that gets there. We just want the thing. And we watch programs like X Factor or America's Got Talent or those sorts of shows, and it literally goes 0 to 1,000,000 instantly. And the reality is we see that and think, well, that's what I want to do. I want to just skip the queue. But it isn't realistic. But what happens when it comes to our own art and our own music is it affects our expectations. And then when we have those expectations with unrealistic time frame, we are setting ourselves up for complete disaster. So I've got a question for you today, which is, in 2027, where would you like to be? What is your goal? And more importantly, how are you going to take steps today to get to your goal in 2027? Is it a realistic goal? Or is it an unrealistic goal because it's not big enough or because it's too big? But once you've got the goal, you can start to work backwards and you can start to see, I just need to start putting one foot in front of the other as long as I'm improving the small micro details every single day. And in doing so, I will improve, I will evolve, I will meet people, I will get more opportunities, and I will start to be able to move faster and faster. And that's why you'll see on most social media platforms of big creators and big influencers, they have exponential growth, which means they don't grow incrementally. It just goes nothing, 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 bigger, 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 bigger. And all of a sudden, everything gets bigger very, very quickly. That's exponential growth. But it takes a long time to start to move the needle. So where is your needle in 2027? I want you to let me know in the comments below. Other than that, guys, I really appreciate you watching. If you can do me a massive favor and just hit that big thumbs up button, that like button, because it really does make a huge difference to the YouTube algorithm, and I would very much appreciate it. Otherwise, take it easy. Stop making those unrealistic expectations, and I'll see you soon.